Hello and welcome to this scientific principles video with electraining. My name is Ian and I'm going to be taking you through a whole series of videos on the principles of electrical science. So let's begin with the principles of electricity itself. Everything around us is made up of tiny things called molecules. But molecules are not the smallest things that exist because they in turn are made up of even tinier things called atoms. And we're going to consider the structure of an atom because it helps us to understand where electricity comes from and how it works. Basically, an atom is constructed of a central core containing two kinds of particles, protons and neutrons. And surrounding the core, there are another type of particle and they're referred to as electrons. Protons are positively charged, so they carry a very tiny electrical charge and we identify as a positive charge. Electrons, on the other hand, are negatively charged particles. Neutrons, well, they're neutral. In other words, they carry no electrical charge. Now, neutrons are important to how the universe works and holds together, but in terms of understanding electricity, they're not so relevant to us. We're more interested in the protons, the positively charged particles, and the electrons, the negatively charged particles. Now, in an electrically neutral atom, in other words, an atom that doesn't have any overall electrical charge, the number of protons is equal to the number of electrons. The simplest atom is the hydrogen atom. A hydrogen atom has one proton in the core and in the outer part there is one electron. Now, I'll just explain at this stage that obviously this is just a diagram and it's clearly not to scale. In fact, atoms are so small that even with the most powerful optical microscope we can't see them. So small that in a pinhead there are millions of atoms. So clearly it's just a diagram to explain the principle. So that's the hydrogen atom, one proton and one electron. By contrast, the heaviest atom is uranium. A uranium atom has 92 protons and 92 electrons. One other example there is the helium atom, and that has 2 protons and 2 electrons. Now, we're not going to consider most of the elements, but the one that we are particularly interested in is copper. And that is because copper is such a good conductor of electricity. Indeed, that's why most of the conductors we use, the conductors within the cables that electricians install, they're made of copper. They conduct electricity really well. Now, a copper atom has 29 protons and 29 electrons. In the diagram, you'll see the core in the middle, the nucleus, that's where the protons and the neutrons are. And then in the outer part of the atom, you have the electrons. Notice that they're arranged at different distances from the core, and we call these set distances, we call them the shells, electron shells. It's a little bit like the solar system where you've got the sun and it's orbited by different planets that are at different distances or different orbits from the sun. It's not a perfect analogy though. We used to think that electrons orbited around the central core. We now understand that they don't actually go round, but they just occupy set positions where they effectively vibrate, and we call those distances the electron shells. Now, the particular electron that I want to point out to you is the one that's the furthest away from the core, and so it's on the outer shell. And in the construction of a copper atom, there's just one electron on the outer shell. And there's something significant about that electron. We call it a free electron. And that's because it's relatively free to move from this atom and to move to another atom. And the reason it's free is this, that all of the electrons are held to the atom, they're held towards the core by certain forces. Now, one of those important forces is the attraction of electrical charge. So negatively charged particles are attracted to positively charged particles. And of course, the electrons are negatively charged, so they're attracted to the core, which contains the protons, which are positively charged. And that's one of the forces that's holding them in place. However, the further away you get from the nucleus, the weaker that force of attraction is. And therefore, the electron that is furthest away in the outer shell, it's relatively loosely attached to the atom. Now that means that it's quite easy for it to drift off from the one atom that it's in and to join another atom. And that's part of the process of how electrical charge begins to be transferred. Now, you want to just see that the electron itself, being a negatively charged particle, once that leaves the atom, that means that the atom now has one less electron than it has protons. So there'll be 29 protons, but now there'll be only 28 electrons if one of the electrons leaves. Now that means that the overall charge of that atom is now that the balance tips towards positive, more positive particles than negative particles, and so the atom itself now has an electrical charge. And we call an atom with an electrical charge, we call it an ion. So this process is the really fundamental principle of how electrical charge moves. We're going to look at it in far more detail and develop the whole idea, but for now that's a good point to end this video and just recap just some of these key points that you'll need for your exam, and that is that electrons are negatively charged particles, protons are positively charged particles. The electron on the outer shell of an atom is the one that's called a free electron, and it's relatively easy for this to move from the atom and attach to a different atom. So all that remains for me to say is thank you very much for watching.